earn any interest. And that's how they're being hurt. That's the first place they're hurt. Their savings. And if they have 401s, who have ripped them off, should have gone to jail. So as a congressperson, I'm going to speak this way. You're not going to take these people that have worked 30 years, put their money in 401k, and in a couple of years, criminals suck that money out of their 401ks. That's how I'm going to protect my seniors. Now, it's difficult to get a person like me, because see, those very people who raided the seniors, they're the ones who are funding certain campaigns. But a senior cannot survive if their little retirements are being eaten up, if their little savings are being eaten up, if they have to take equity out of their homes that are undervalued to finance the education of their children, which is overpriced. That's how I'm going to protect my seniors. Right? The first thing they need is a voice who understands what I just said, who know enough to articulate it in the way I just said. Right? And then we fight for our seniors. Most of our seniors are, seniors that look like us, they come out of public service employment. That's where they work. There's no middle-class seniors who have retirements in large numbers that didn't come out of public service. They're teachers, they're police officers, government workers, you know who we are, right? So if I don't have, my Social Security going up annually, cost of living, I'm hurting my seniors. And those are the kinds of things that I would fight for.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Thornton. Okay, thank you. And stick around.
Okay.
You have a chance to talk to him after our meeting. Hi, Madam Vice President. Who is going to talk to us about the redistricting reform program that the governor put into place. The commission, and I'm not going to give away his thunder, so I'm going to hush, and I'm going to let him come forward and talk to you. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Nathaniel Bryant, role model of Dr. Thornton.
Good evening. I'm going to sit down and talk to you because this is not a speech or a presentation. This is basically a briefing on what I feel is a cause of action that we all should be involved in, I believe, in the upcoming months in this state. As I talk to you this evening, I would ask you to do two things with me in your thought process and understand what I'm talking about. First of all, I would like for you to see yourselves as small d Democrats, not members of the two major parties in this country, Republican or Democrat, but small d Democrats. That means you are members of a constituent group that is a resident of a jurisdiction that operates on democratic principles. One man, one vote, majority rules. Secondly, when we talk, and I've heard the term here a couple of times, when I say we, I would like for us to understand that we is a flexible term. It expands to the three counties, Montgomery, Baltimore, Prince George's, or it could be we, a three-member committee working on a particular issue surrounding this issue. Let us make sure we understand what we're talking about here. So I thought I would start with the basics. So I went to Webster's Unabridged Dictionary and got the definition of reform. And it says this: reform, the improvement or amendment of what is wrong, corrupt, unsatisfactory, to put to an end, abuse, and disorder. So first of all, as it pertains to the issue of redistricting reform, we have to agree that it's corrupt, that it's wrong, and it needs to be changed. That's the first consensus that we will have to make. History on this particular issue. It wasn't until our last meeting that I found out about the redistricting issue. So I'm by trade, I'm a federal investigator, so I thought I would open up a case on this.
That's okay.
On August the 6th of this year, Governor Holden issued an executive order establishing a redistricting reform commission. Let us keep in mind that four community events were held surrounding this issue, none of which were held in Baltimore City or in Prince George's County. I think you can see on what side of Laurel, what side of the street.
Over in Hyattsville.
Prince George's
Okay.
County.
Where's
Key language, there are a whole bunch of whereases, but the second whereas fairness and process and good governance are we, the citizens of Maryland, expect and deserve. Whereas the process of redistricting should be fully transparent and subject to input and scrutiny from the public. May not want to be involved, particularly out front in this issue, because you're going to be bucking the boys.
True.
Anyone from the street understands what I'm saying. You're going to be bucking the boys. As to, we know what the governor wants to do, but we have to ask before he even lets it out is, either a question or a referendum issue on the next election. Now, he's going to have to be very careful with that because it's going to be a presidential election and you're going to have a larger turnout than you would in the off years. How they're going to do that, they're going to educate the people that they feel would come and respond properly to that question. So I laid out a group of process issue. If the governor could, he would stand up tomorrow and change everything, but he can't do that. It has to go through a process of the people, either through the elected officials or through the people themselves. So that affords us the opportunity to sit back, to monitor what his projected plans are, and to strategize as to how we want to get involved in this issue. I wasn't there, but they told me that Frederick Douglass once says that nothing without demand.
That's right.
Now,
That's
demand
right.
can come in various forms and methods. I think this is a very good issue for the next couple of months to do a couple of things. First thing we have to do is obtain a copy of the commission's report, which is due to the governor tomorrow.
November the 3rd, yeah.
Okay, November the 3rd, the report is due. Now, I've made several calls to the redistricting commission, and I found out that one of the principal parties in this whole process in Annapolis' last name is Hogan, not the governor. So I didn't incur any further, so that tells us a lot there. So one, we have to find out what they're recommending, then we have to make the big decision. And I really mean the big decision. What is best for us? Single member districts or multiple member districts? We have multiple member districts now. Understanding that although we are the majority minority in this county, that is not true across the state. We only have 3 jurisdictions where we can really make a difference if we're all on the same accord. That's in Baltimore City, obviously, Prince George's County, and pockets of Montgomery County. That's where I say the expanding we is important. If we're going to get involved in this issue, our numbers. So we have to ask the question, do we want the status quo, hoping and praying that they would change and be more beneficial to us in the future, or do we want to go out and create or be an advocate, if you will, for the single member districts? Now, I don't know the full ramifications for that. That's why it's important that we have time to do some research, time to attempt to expand our organization. So time in that sense is somewhat on our side. Spoke to the lady in Annapolis. The commission's report is going to be on their website. And I also listed myself as an individual. My Citizens Association, I would like to list this organization as a party of record, so that any and all correspondence pertaining to the issue will come to you. Then once we get it, we're going to have to read it. We're going to have to come together again and try to build the consensus as to what we want to do.
Okay.
Now, the caveat that I gave you earlier, I think, is very significant, because the people whom we have elected, who lay citizens would look to for guidance, may not want to be out front on this. So it may take those who are not elected officials to go and be the champions of this issue and educate our people as to what's really beneficial for us as this issue progresses. Because it is a process issue, I think that organizations such as this can benefit from it regardless of how it turns out. If the situation remains the same, then we'd have to make a little bit more noise in the process. But if we were to have some drastic changes in the redistricting methods in this state, then we have to understand that we're going to be competing with people who are similarly situated in the state.
Okay.
Republicans, Hispanics, ethnic groups, whatever. We have to understand that. No one owes us anything politically in this state. Everything we're going to earn is going to come through some form of struggle. We're going to elevate our struggle. We're not going to be marching and walking around. We're going to be in the rooms, listening, reading, and coming back and talking to each other, and hopefully we can come together as a consensus group as to how we're going to go out and attempt to organize the larger minority communities throughout the state. That's all I can say right now on it, because we have to wait and see what they're going to propose. Now, I'm sure that they've had meetings before the meetings to understand that the direction that they would like to see the commission's report take once it is submitted. So once we find out what that is, we can then proceed to reach out. Now, I was thinking in that process, we are really in a good position to do that because we have